Hey guys, what is happening? Hopefully it works this time. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Hopefully y'all are having a wonderful day today. I was into my video about 7-10 minutes in, and then I realized that this son of a bitch had stopped recording. Great thing about Mobi Recorder. Anyways, man. So I've tried to do this video several times today because I've tried to make this video perfect to get all my points out there, and hopefully this will be the last attempt. But basically, the news today, man, and I'm very excited to deliver this news. Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, I believe, have finally agreed to terms to fight. We just don't know where a venue is going to be yet. We don't know when the exact date is going to be, but they have agreed on the purse. Apparently, they have signed off to fight each other, not just once, but twice. And I think that this is very, very exciting. Of course it is. This is probably the biggest fight in all the boxing. And I noticed that a certain amount of the channels out there, and when I say that, I mean the LDBC and new media channels who are big Deontay Wilder fanboys, some of them were a little bit slow to post this, or they have not posted it yet, because it probably breaks their hearts that their boy, Deontay Wilder, is not going to get that third match with Tyson Fury. Alright? So it is what it is. But anyways, and let me also talk about this. This fight is probably not just going to be who the best heavyweight in the world is today. This fight could very well potentially mean who is the greatest heavyweight of the past 12 years, even possibly over Vladimir Klitschko. Because in the Vladimir Klitschko era, I can't necessarily say that there was someone like a peak Tyson Fury when he was that 10 years reigning champion, that there was someone like a Wall, like a Tyson Fury or an Anthony Joshua or a Deontay Wilder. I can't necessarily say that he had that same amount of talent that he was facing in his career, but it is what it is. Anyway, that being said, so just talking about this, and let me also say this, because I said in the video the other day when I was talking about Deontay Wilder and Andrew Ruiz, a potential fight of them happening, I said that if they did fight, that if Andrew Ruiz were to win that match, that Deontay Wilder would then be exited out of the Big Four, and that Andy Ruiz would be entered into it. Well, what I'll say is this. I do think Deontay Wilder has done enough to always be counted as one of the more prolific heavyweights of the past 10 years. Now, does that mean necessarily that if he were to lose the Andrew Ruiz fight that he would not be somewhat of a hype job? I'm not going to go that far, because if he were to lose that fight, that would not be good on Deontay Wilder's legacy. that would be a very, very, very bad loss. But he certainly would still have to be considered as an A-class fighter, most likely. He does have 10 title defenses, although not be against all that great a competition, but he does have 10 title defenses. He did beat Bermane Stiverne, he did beat Luis Ortiz, and he at least gave Tyson Fury somewhat of a tough fight in the first fight. So Deontay Wilder, if he were to lose that Andrew Ruiz fight, unless maybe later on he were able to beat Anthony Joshua or something like that, if he were to lose the Andrew Ruiz fight, he would probably have to be at the bottom of the Elite Five. There would only be an Elite Five if Andrew Ruiz beats Deontay Wilder. But we'd have to see if that happens. But anyway, just thought I'd be fair there. But when it comes to, because the more that I thought about it, Deontay does have to be considered as an A-class fighter. But, so when it comes to this fight, man, this is going to be for who probably is the number one heavyweight of the past 12 years. Which makes this fight so intriguing. Or the greatest heavyweight of the past 12 years, in my opinion. Now, of course, Anthony Joshua had not always been fighting for that length of time. But what I mean by that overall is that when you talk about prolific heavyweights, of course, there's been four elites: Klitschko, Fury, Wilder, and Joshua. So it is what it is. That's just what I mean by that. But when it comes down to it, this fight is an amazing fight. Who would I personally favor in this fight? I would favor Tyson Fury. I think that Tyson Fury is probably going to go in as at least a 2-1 favorite. I do think Anthony Joshua has a chance. I think a certain amount of people are, well, at first they were counting out Anthony Joshua, but now some of the Deontay Wilder fanboys especially actually have found themselves to be Tyson Fury, or excuse me, not Tyson Fury, but Anthony Joshua, fans are at least being on his side, because they hate Tyson Fury now with such a passion that they just want someone to whoop his ass. So it is what it is. And remember, a lot of those LDBC new media channels, they are pro-racial. So racial tension is a part of why they want Tyson Fury to lose. Not everyone overall who predicts Anthony Joshua is going to win or anything like that has racial tension. But remember, these LDBC new media channels, racial tension is a part of their motivations. So it is what it is. Anyway, I would personally favor Tyson Fury. I think he has more experience when it comes to A-class fighters. He's beaten two A-grade fighters, one Deontay Wilder. He basically beat him very badly. He also dominated Vladimir Klitschko when he was, I'm not going to say at his absolute peak, but when he was, well, you could argue that when it comes down to it. So it is what it is. He beat Vladimir Klitschko pretty much at his best. He certainly beat Deontay Wilder at his best. So when it comes down to it, I think that he has more experience when it comes to the A-class fighters. Anthony Joshua, maybe he fights a little bit more than Tyson Fury. He has fought more of the top contenders than Tyson Fury, just not, when it comes to the A-class fighters, but when it comes to Dillian White, Joseph Parker, Alexander Povetkin, Andy Ruiz, and a certain amount of the others, yeah, he certainly has fought more of the top contenders. So you have that. I think that Tyson Fury, with his length, with his movement, with his footwork, I think is going to give Anthony Joshua a certain amount of problems, and I do predict Tyson Fury to outbox Anthony Joshua. I actually don't think that a knockout is going to happen. I think that if a knockout actually does happen, I think it'll actually go in Anthony Joshua's favor, and a certain amount of people may disagree with that. Now, would I be shell-shocked that Tyson Fury knocked out Anthony Joshua? No. But that narrative that Anthony Joshua just has this limp chin, I think that's always been very overrated. I thought that Anthony Joshua, I think he has an average chin. I think that he got hurt so badly in the Ruiz fight because it's not like Anthony Joshua can't be hurt, but when it comes down to it, I think that he was not in good conditioning in that fight at all, and I don't think he took Andy Ruiz very seriously. And in the rematch, even when some punches landed, he took them a lot better because he was in much greater conditioning. So it is what it is. And I think he's going to take this fight seriously, obviously. So it is what it is. But when it comes down to it, man, I think this is a 60-40 fight in favor of Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, I just think, has maybe a little bit more of the skill advantage, especially in the movement and footwork category. But Anthony Joshua, do give him credit. I do think that his punches sometimes are a little bit more tactical. I do believe that they're a little bit more cleaner and precise, especially on the inside. And both of them have a potential to be hurt. A lot of people think Tyson Fury has this very great chin. Tyson Fury has a decent chin, but it's not like it's impossible for him to be knocked down. Now, of course, he's never been knocked out. Very close against Deontay Wilder. He was very close to getting knocked out against Deontay Wilder. Now, of course, if you ask Deontay Wilder fans, he was knocked out. But we all know how delusional of a bunch they are. It is what it is. Anyway, when it comes down to it, Tyson Fury has not just been knocked down against Deontay Wilder. He's been hurt against cruiserweights. He's been hurt against a couple of other guys. Even a little bit hurt against Otto Wallin. So when it comes down to it, it is not impossible to hurt Tyson Fury. So if Anthony Joshua is able to get him right, if he's able to stick his jab at there a decent amount, maybe go to the body, we'll see what happens. And if it's an inside fight, I actually don't think Tyson Fury necessarily wants to clinch as much with Anthony Joshua in this one. Let me rephrase that. I don't think that he wants to fight on the inside as much as Anthony Joshua, kind of as he did with Deontay Wilder, because he may not be able to push Anthony Joshua around as much as he did Deontay Wilder. Anthony Joshua's a bit heavier. He has equal power in both hands, unlike a Deontay who really just, I'm not saying he doesn't have power in his left, but mainly has one-shot knockout power in his right. There's an obvious difference power level between his left and his right. And when it comes down to it, Anthony Joshua, I think, is actually a crisper fighter on the inside, even though sometimes he does leave his hands down. But I think that those two fights that Tyson Fury had against Deontay Wilder and that fight that Anthony Joshua, those two fights that he had against Andrew Ruiz and then that fight against Kubrat Pulev, I think actually that this is the best fight possibly available. And I think that loss that Anthony Joshua actually took, I think that was actually necessary. I think it made him a better fighter. In the Kubrat Pulev fight, he looked flawless. I'm not going to say completely flawless, but for him, it was a pretty damn good performance. His head movement was better, I thought, in the fight. He looked slicker. He looked like he had decent movement. Didn't get hit very often. Was able to take risks here and there, but not stupid ones, calculated ones. I thought he looked very good. And to be honest with you, I thought that was the most impressive performance that I had seen out of Anthony Joshua's career. So it is what it is. Tyson Fury, the best performance I've seen out of his career is probably the Deontay Wilder rematch. So, hey, two best performances of their careers. Let's get this fight going, man. I think that this is an excellent fight. I think it's an A-grade fight. I cannot wait for this, man. But I just thought overall that I would comment on that. The heavyweight division, I think, very talented as of right now. It's been very talented for the past 5 years. Man, just very, very great boxing. So hopefully this fight is going to happen. I believe that it is going to. We just have to confirm a date and the venue, so we'll see what happens there. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think in this fight. Who do you favor to win this matchup? Because this is a close matchup. And if I didn't say before, I think the purse split is going to be 50-50 in the first fight. Whoever the winner is in the rematch, the winner gets 60-40. Of course, the winner of the first match, so it is what it is. Anyways, that's really about it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you guys later. Let me know what you think about this. Peace out for now.